Good morning, cult members. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And happy hashtag Cold Beer Sundays. And welcome to episode 10 of TV Time. Dun, dun, dun. We've talked about in the last few weeks how there hasn't been a whole lot of TV news. And with two things that happened, there's a ton of news.
Right.
We have a review, we have some discussion, and I think I might be on Facebook the rest of the day.
Okay.
We'll get into it.
All right.
But first, we ask... we'll get to it.
I got it.
It's in the stories.
I got it.
And you read the notes. At least what you can see, right?
Proceed.
We ask you to do two things here at the Pop Culture Cult. Very simple. One, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell to get notifications. That's all one thing, not two. It's one thing. It's really easy. Just hit the button. It costs nothing. And the only other thing that we ask from you is share with your friends. It is the time of sharing and
season of sharing
and caring. And if you care about us at all, you will share with your friends.
And even if you don't, do it anyway.
If you don't like them, then definitely send us to them and make them crazy.
Right.
But we have a whole bunch of stuff that we want to get into. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Idris Elba is returning as Luther.
Yay!
Okay. I'm super excited. He's in Hobbs and Shaw. He's doing Luther. He should be the next Bond, but probably won't happen. But
he's a great EDM DJ.
He's a really good, yeah. If he plays Creamfields next year, we have to have a long discussion. But we watched the trailer. I watched the trailer again this morning, and she saw it for the first time. Now, I'm not up to date on the series, but she is.
Right.
Because crime dramas is like her wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And
especially English crime dramas.
If that's a wedge on the Schmodown wheel, I like your chances.
I've got it.
All right. So what were your thoughts about this trailer?
Well, so it looks like he got a new partner. I guess spoilers if you haven't seen the last season of Luther. If you haven't, skip ahead. But he got a new partner. I believe he was just last season 4. Justin. and they killed him off. So in a shocking turn of events, because it's Luther and he always has to have somebody in his life die every season. So he died. Looks like he got a new partner. She was the one kind of talking in the trailer. There's, a bad guy looks
like a serial killer
cutting people in half.
Yeah. The song in the trailer was amazing.
Yeah.
Really.
My husband can't stop singing Toxic now by Britney Spears. Really creepy version.
It's like a creepy, slowed down acoustic version of the song.
Yeah, which is appropriate, I guess.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, like a hot second's worth, Alice Morgan is back. She's kind of his dark side, right? She's a psychopath. She's like, remember in CSI when they had the miniature killer?
Yeah.
That's kind of, Alice Morgan reminds me of that.
Yeah.
And
very smart, plans everything ahead.
Yes. And like
leaves clues
you won't
everywhere.
see her for a while, and then all of a sudden something pops back up and she's back.
Yeah.
And she was killed off, I believe it was last season, but not like it wasn't on screen, which a lot of people weren't very happy about because she was she was in it from the beginning. So, and just checking on like the interwebs, and there's been some upheaval that she was killed off screen very unsatisfyingly. And I guess Idris Elba has been kind of teasing for over a year that, she might not be dead. And guess what? She's not. So, or
she is.
It's her ghost.
Or it's somebody else.
Or, well.
Copycat killer kind of thing.
No, because you saw her face.
That's true.
Yeah. So, and she looked like all bloodied up. She was drowned. She was in a car. Her car flipped and went into the water. So, I mean, it could just be her memory teasing his brain,
right.
but I don't think
you got a
people
new
will
serial killer in the show, and so
and he's
having flashbacks to her and stuff. That would be an interesting story.
I don't know if that would
trope.
make fans happy, but
yeah,
we'll see.
So it looks like it's going to come out first of next year. So that looks like it could. And it's Luther and Idris Elba, so that's always a win.
Oh yeah, it'll be good
on BBC America for us. So.
Yes, yeah,
and BBC 2 in the UK. I know there's like 7 channels. So.
BBC. I don't know.
Pick one, you'll find it. We're gonna do. So Daredevil, we finally got to finish Daredevil this week, and while we were watching the last few episodes on Thursday, the news came down that Netflix axed Daredevil. So what we're going to do is first we're going to talk about the season 3 and do a little bit of a review, and then we're going to talk about what the cancellation really means.
Right.
So first,
in our speculation.
I have thoughts. First, Daredevil season 3. Every show should have Vincent D'Onofrio play Wilson Fisk every time.
He is creepy AF.
Yes. He was a great villain in the first season. And then they put him in prison. If you haven't watched season 1 of Daredevil and you're watching this show, I'm sorry. We will not spoil season 3. We'll do that because it's still on whatever. But
right.
And season 2 was probably some of the best TV from the Marvel TV universe. But we didn't get Fisk. We got Fisk like a little bit, whatever.
Yeah.
And then this season he was the big bad.
Right.
And I love bad guys who are intellectual.
Yeah.
And especially, and it's somebody like him who is a big, powerful, mean-looking dude who can be big, powerful, and violent. But he was super intellectual in what he was doing and how he planned everything out.
Yeah.
And all that
and
stuff.
you waffle back and forth between empathizing for him.
Right.
And then, oh my God, he's this horrible person.
Right.
You know, you're like, oh, he just wants his girlfriend back.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be in prison. And
and then the evil part of him shows up.
Right.
The introduction of Bullseye into the series, I think, was a nice touch. It gave a physical opponent for Daredevil to go against. Instead of the intellectual, his equal
physically
and stuff. The way they told his story with Poindexter, who is Bullseye. They just the way they introduced him and his backstory, and there's a whole half of an episode that's done in black and white as a flashback, which is a really bold choice, but I really appreciated it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like a visual cue, right, to understand that this was, I mean, he's not that old, but this was probably in the 80s, maybe, that, 90s, but it's a visual cue to understand that this is in the past.
Yeah. Overall, the season is really well done.
Yeah.
I love the way they put the church side of his character into the show, which is there's a whole run. They took a run from the comic and put it on the screen this season. Now, we've talked about how we're not super comic book people, and so coming from the point of view of just TV viewers, I love this story. I love this story arc, all the stuff that happened.
Yeah.
It's probably maybe 2 episodes too long of a season, but we got through it pretty quick once we actually decided to sit down and binge it.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was too long. I don't really know what they would have cut out, because everything that happens kind of in the last 2 episodes, you had to have had all that backstory to even appreciate or just feel for what's going on with people. So
I've talked about it before. I think every TV show should be 10 to 12 episodes, and that's it.
How many was this one?
13.
Do you remember? 13? That's fine.
So but the overall story arc is just amazing and so well done.
Yep.
Now, let's talk about the cancellation. Netflix had come out recently and canceled Iron Fist, which was pretty much a foregone conclusion after season 2.
Yeah, and we talked about in our review that, or at least I did, that I really felt like they tied it in a nice little bow. They could leave it right there, and I'd be fine.
Then the next day they said Luke Cage was canceled.
Right.
They were already writing the overall story, not the individual episode scripts, but the overall story. They were writing that. The writers' room was getting together for Luke Cage season 3.
Right.
So that was kind of a surprise, not really as much as Daredevil being canceled. Daredevil has been widely considered the best of the Marvel TV stuff on Netflix.
Right.
All 3 seasons are in everybody's top 5.
Yeah. I think for me, it's equal to Punisher. I really liked Punisher as well, and I feel that Daredevil might be a hair above Punisher, but I really liked both of them.
Yeah. So Netflix came out with a comment, and it said, Marvel's Daredevil will not return for a 4th season on Netflix. We are tremendously proud of the show's last and final season, and although it's painful for the fans, we feel it's best to close this chapter on a high note. We are thankful to showrunner Eric Olson, the show's writers, stellar crew, and incredible casting, including Charlie Cox as Daredevil himself. And we're grateful to the fans who have supported the show over the years. While the series on Netflix has ended, the 3 exciting seasons will remain on the service for years to come, while the Daredevil character will live on in the future projects of Marvel.
Right.
So, here's the speculation. Everything that's Marvel TV going forward is going to Disney Plus.
Right. Yeah, I think that is a foregone conclusion. I mean, I think that Disney Plus will do some form of the Defenders, right? That's what all of them are called. So whether they do it with the current cast, whether they do individual shows like Netflix did, or they just do, or whether they plug them into some other
thing or whatever. Right.
That's kind of what we don't know.
Kevin Feige has talked about in the past that the Netflix Marvel universe does exist inside the MCU.
Right.
But they would never show up in the MCU. However, that was before we knew we were getting Disney Plus. And they are more street-level people.
Right.
And this is really kind of a bad way of putting it, but they're smaller characters inside the entire Marvel universe. They were like that in the comics, although Luke Cage was an Avenger for a while, and Daredevil and Spider-Man have done stuff together and all that kind of stuff. So I like the idea of everything going to one spot. And if we're going to do that, take it all to Disney Plus. Leave the seasons of all the shows on there, including Jessica Jones and Punisher. My concern is Punisher, just because of the character, that show has to be ultra violent. And a lot of people are questioning if Disney is going to allow these shows to be as violent as they need to be.
Right.
I feel like they're going to. I feel if you're going to buy Fox and you're going to buy Hulu, or at least part of Hulu, and you're going to buy these studios that have a reputation of doing R-rated or violent shows or movies or whatever, you're going to have them under the umbrella of Disney, the big corporate company, but you're going to make that the adult version of the adult wing. You have the Marvel wing, you have the Pixar wing, you have the all that Lucas and stuff. It's just that part.
And I think we talked about this before, that you can set it up like Netflix does, right? So there's the different users, viewers, whatever, and accounts, whatever. And if people are worried about their kid going on Disney Plus to watch Cinderella and end up watching Punisher or Pinocchio, and they end up watching they could set it up so that you have a kid's account, and that's the account that your kids can access and block some of the shows you don't want them to see. But I think Disney probably has equal or maybe even more adults who are into the Disney franchises
Yep.
now than kids.
Josh and I, Josh is the newest member of the Pop Culture Cult, and he and I are doing a Star Wars show, and we discussed that he's a Disney kid. He's now a Disney adult. So stuff like being an adult and going to Galaxy's Edge or watching Punisher or that kind of stuff, he's going to support Disney and whatever they do. And there's tons of people we know who love the Disney stuff, but also want to be able to have that sharper edge to those stories.
Right. There's people that grew up watching Star Wars, and Star Wars is now Star Wars is kind of, it's always been, Lucas always intended that to be geared towards kids, but there's a lot of adults who are like, there are other stories out there that are a little edgier,
a little darker,
that
Rogue One.
Yeah. And even more, right? That they want to see, that Disney's kind of shied away from. So they're going to have to broaden their...
if they're going to be, what do they say, 40% of the marketplace after this acquisition, that they're going to have to broaden their scope of what they are doing. They have to.
Right.
Or you're going to start losing people because they still want those darker storylines.
Right. Deadpool, Logan.
Right. You can't. I'm sorry. I love Disney, but I don't want to watch Disney princess movies every 5 minutes. I want to see a Disney princess movie, and then I want to see Deadpool cutting people's heads off, and then I want to see starships doing stuff, and then I want to see Wall-E save the world. I want to see. I want to have a full scope of everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Marvel, Netflix shows that are left are Jessica Jones and Punisher. We all are assuming that they're going to leave as soon as their seasons are done. Jessica Jones season 3 started filming last summer. They've been working their way through it and everything. And Punisher wrapped in August, and we're supposed to get both of those series in this early 2019. And so we should be getting both of those, and then there'll be some announcement that they've been canceled.
Yep.
And then we get Disney Plus in the fall.
Yep.
And that could be when they make a big announcement saying, "Ta-da!"
Yep.
San Diego could be where they do it since they don't have D23 this year.
Oh, okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they just rent out the arc light and Disney shows up and says, "Okay, here's what Disney Plus is going to be, and here's all the shows that we're to do, and here's what we're bringing in, and here's the." There's been some mumblings of stuff that they're doing, but
I expect Disney to have a big panel at San Diego and do a rollout of, here's a first look at the not Boba Fett, what's the
Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian.
Well, you have to remember the Star Wars stuff. We have Celebration in April in Chicago. So you'll get all the Star Wars stuff. So you get Episode 9, you get the Mandalorian, you get the Cassian Andor stuff, you get all the books, you get Resistance, you get
they'll show
Wars.
it again, though. They'll show it again
yeah.
at San Diego, and then they'll show some other
stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if Disney has a 2-hour block on like a Saturday.
Yeah.
Since they don't have
Of course, we're not
going
going to be there on Saturday.
No, we'll be there. Well, we'll be on site.
We'll be there, but we won't
be in that room. So that's our thoughts. As much as I love Daredevil and how all 3 seasons have been amazing television, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the cancellation to put it on the Disney streaming service.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, and I hope that they do something good with it.
If you read the internet though, you would think the sky was falling. Oh my God, they canceled Daredevil. Just
really, you didn't see that coming?
There is something going on that none of us know, and we know one person who's working on the streaming service, and he can't even talk. Like, I mentioned one thing about it. He's like, I'm done with this conversation. Done. So there is stuff coming. We just don't know it all yet. We got a couple things that we want to talk about left. We got a Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Part 2 trailer on Saturday out of the blue. We woke up Saturday morning having coffee. Bam! 45-second teaser trailer. We did a trailer reaction. I'll put it at the end of this episode. We also did the latest episode of Doctor Who review. It's called The Witchfinders. Alan Cummings as King James. Just saying. Well, there's 2 episodes of that left until we get to the New Year's special. We'll have another one of those tonight. Our pop choice of the week this week is a show that we watched last night in a drunken haze, and it was amazing. It was called Bumping Mics. It's on Netflix. It is a 3-episode series. That's how we're getting away with this.
It's on TV.
It's on
TV.
Netflix. It's 3 episodes. It's 2 comics, Jeff Ross and David Attell, who sit on the stage and just riff and make fun of each other and tell jokes and whatever. And this Bumping Mics 3-episode series was the 3 nights that they did in New York at the end of the tour.
Yep. And Jeff Ross is the guy who does all the roastings,
celebrity roasts and stuff. Yeah.
So he, you understand he's gonna talk a bunch of crap about everybody, and Dave Attell just doesn't care. He'll say whatever.
Yeah.
A couple of Jewish guys up there and they bump mics together whenever they get one of them gets a good one off. So
it was fun. They had each episode is a night. So there was a Friday night episode, a Saturday night episode, and a Sunday night episode. And each episode had guest stars who just were people
they invited
or they just showed up. Amy Schumer was in there, Bob Saget, and Gilbert Gottfried, and Jeff and Dave on all 4 of them on stage just taking shots at each other the entire time.
You can tell that Jeff, Dave, Bob Saget, and Gilbert Gottfried are all friends.
Oh, super fun.
Off stage. Not just comic buddies, but actually hang out together.
Yeah. And then Paul Rudd was on an episode and a bunch of other people.
Paul Rudd was drunk.
He was drunk. He actually got up and said, "I'm 7 tequilas in, and now you give me a mic." Like, it's so
was
funny.
Awesome.
It was and then he's like, "Oh God, I'm gonna be on Netflix." And side note, he had a 4 hat. It was the Fantastic Four hat.
Yeah.
It's like we get into that. It's a whole different conversation. But it's 3 episodes. The longest episode's like 45 minutes. It is blue and funny and just I will watch it again. I was crying laughing last night.
If you're easily offended
this is
or
not the
PC,
show for you.
Don't watch this. If you miss the old comedy where it was okay to Gilbert Gottfried, holy crap.
Right, he's always been like that. Yeah, I love Gilbert.
And Bob Saget actually toned it down.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he even said, "I guess I have to tone it down a little bit." No, we're on Netflix. So yeah, it was definitely worth the watch. It just dropped this weekend, so get on there and help that out.
Yep.
One last thing we're going to talk about, and that's Facebook is throwing their hat into the streaming service stuff, and I find this interesting. It's the streaming wars. We had the current wars, the electric currency current wars that happened in the early 1800s, and then we had the train wars, and then we had the phone wars, and then we had war wars. Now we have the streaming wars, and we have Netflix and Hulu and Disney and everybody. Now Facebook's trying to throw their hat in, and they're cheating. They are launched on the 30th. All episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, and Firefly are free on Facebook.
Right. Now, honestly, if you have Hulu, Netflix, whatever, you can pretty much watch these as well.
If you have Hulu already, all of these episodes are on there, and I think Firefly's on the Crackle one too.
Yes.
Or if you're a weirdo like we are, you already have Firefly.
And
Serenity. The idea of this I find awesome. Twitch did this with Classic Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
They live streamed Classic Doctor Who, which if I was home or whatever, I would just throw on and let Twitch play in the background with Classic Who on. As much as I love Doctor Who, there are some rough episodes in there. But the idea that you can do this and go watch all of Buffy and all of Angel and all of Firefly. Now, Firefly, it's only 13 episodes, so it kind of gets shitty, but there's 268 total episodes between the 3 shows.
Yeah, Buffy and Angel. I think Buffy's probably the longest.
Yeah.
And then, Angel was in there too. I want to rewatch the Muppet episode
It's
of Angel.
so good. It's so like this was the great thing about the Whedonverse. Before we had Berlantiverse, we had the Whedonverse.
Yep.
And they were able to do a whole episode of Angel or Buffy where they didn't talk.
Yeah.
Or they had the musical episode.
Yep.
They were doing musical episodes 10 years before High School Musical was on TV or Glee or anything like that. And then they had the Muppets episode where Angel becomes a puppet, and it's just like makes complete sense.
It should be. You should be like, oh my god, this is the dumbest thing ever, and it's
such
not.
a great episode. The two Xanders, like Xander actually the guy Nicholas. Oh, I can't remember his name right
Flamel.
now. No, not Nicholas Flamel. That's a different video. Oh, we'll have to do an outtakes episode one day. But he actually has a twin, so they were actually able to play each other in the twins episode. But does this make sense? Like, do you think this is a good? I think it's amazing, but
I don't know. I kind of don't care.
No, that's fair.
There's, like I said, there's so many other places that you can watch these. I guess it's cool if you don't have, because everybody has Facebook, right? So it's cool if you don't have access to these.
Right.
But I'm not real sure what they're trying to accomplish with showing this stuff. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like this is gonna. What I want it to happen. I don't know if this is actually what's going to happen. What I want to happen is have Facebook streaming TV be like TV Land. So they show a bunch of old episodes. They could do One Tree Hill or Dawson's Creek, and then go back and do Partridge Family, and
that would be
Brady Bunch.
Cheaper for them,
yes.
and they don't have to try to come up with new content.
Right.
There's so much new content out there that we struggled to just keep up.
Right.
So,
but having this as we're not really paying attention to anything, whatever, and we put Buffy on in the background, which might end up happening. But I've seen every episode of Angel like 3 times. I've seen every episode of Buffy like twice. Like I said, we own Firefly. I love all of these shows. I like the idea of making it easy. I like the idea of making things more accessible to more people.
Yeah. And that's what that's what I said.
Yeah.
Everybody has Facebook, so I guess that's cool. Are they putting commercials in? What are they? How are they paying for this?
It's Facebook. They have $1 bazillion.
I know, but Mark Zuckerberg isn't getting off of any of that money.
Yeah, we could throw it on and see if it is. The way you get it is, I think it actually said it was free. It says free, but I don't know if users in the U.S. So it's only for the U.S. If you were interested in this, there is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer Facebook page. You put it in, it'll probably have a blue check mark. Angel and Firefly, each one of those will have their own pages.
Oh, and then you watch
it from there. So you just click on that page and you can watch it.
I wonder if you can skip around to the episodes that you want to watch?
I doubt it.
Or if it's just one
right
big
now. I
streaming.
think it's one big streaming for right now, kind of like how Twitch did Doctor Who. But
right.
I haven't looked. We haven't had a chance to really get into it. And
we will check that out and report back later.
Yes, we will. So that's this week's episode of TV Time. What do you guys think? Are you going to watch the Whedonverse on Facebook? How do you feel about Daredevil? Let us know. Are you upset that it got canceled? Because we understand why it got canceled. Canceled, quotty fingers. And do you believe it's going to be on the Disney streaming service? And tell us anything else TV-wise that you are watching and think that we need to talk about. Leave us a comment. Like this video. I've already asked you to subscribe. Please subscribe. You can get a hold of us, too, on our social media network. It's all in the description. And until next time, good afternoon now.